Okay, so today we continue in the Hovot Halevavot in Shar HaBitachon, and we are going to be starting with Perik Sheni. We began Perik Sheni last time, but kind of just to get the whole picture, we'll start again from the beginning of Perik Sheni. Okay, so we just saw that Bitachon means, according to the Hovot Halevavot, Bitachon means that I have so much trust and guarantee in HaKadosh Baruch Hu that I am tranquil, I am satisfied, I am not worried, I have everything going good for me, I have nothing to be worried about. So now, the Chovat Levavot wants to figure out, or wants us to understand, what conditions a being needs to have in order for them to be trusted in. Who should you have bitachon in? Who should you have belief and guarantee that they can get the job done? So there are going to be 7 conditions that they need to have. So let's begin. Ach hasibot asher bahen yitachen habitachon mehaboteach al habiruim hen sheva. There are 7 qualities or conditions that would make it possible to trust in other human beings. You're going to see that no single human being can have all of these qualities. And the only being in the world that can have these qualities is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let's start with the first of them. Ahat mehen, the first quality, the first condition, the first thing that they need to have in order to be someone that you can trust in and have bitachon in, is he has to be harahamim v'hahemla v'ha'ahava. He has to have the combination of compassion, of sympathy, and love. If the person you're going to trust in doesn't love you, it's hard to trust in them, because if they don't love you, why would they do something nice for you? You have to have someone who really has compassion, has sympathy, who has love for that other being, for you to have trust in them. Ki ha'adam keshehu yodea v'chavero shu merachem v'chomel alav. For when a man knows that a certain person has compassion for him and likes him, yiftach bo, then he'll trust him. V'tanuach nafsho alav v'choma sheyatrihehu me'enyanav. His soul is then at ease in any matter that we require him to bother that person. A lot of times when you want something from someone, you feel you're bothering them. Why? Because they don't really owe it to you. They don't really love you that much. But when you ask your mom for something, right? The person asks his mother, you don't feel like you're bothering your mother, even though you probably are. But you don't feel that way. Why? Because you know that they love you so much and they're going to do anything for you. So you need the first condition in order to trust somebody and have bitachon in them is that they have to be loving, compassionate towards you. All right. Says the Hovot Halevavot. Now let's take a look at the second one. V'hashenit, the second condition in order to be boteach in somebody. Sheyeh yodea bo im ahavato. That he knows, in addition to the love, that he will never ignore him. If you're trusting in someone to take care of you, or for someone to help you, that person needs to be available to help you. And that person needs to be available all the time to help you. That he won't be lazy, right? Imagine you're trusting somebody to help you out, and the guy says, you know what, I'm too lazy to come to work today to help you out. I'm just not coming. So now the whole presentation's on you. Now the whole thing that you have to do with somebody else, he's not there, so it's only you now. So it has to be somebody not only who loves you, they also have to show up. They have to be available all the time. That we know he's going to be exerting himself. And he's always willing to do it. So if you have a friend who's always available to you and he never forgets you, that's great. But if you're not certain of all this, he will not trust him fully. All right? The guy says, yeah, I'm going to show up, I'm going to show up. And then comes the time he's not there. And that's humans. They're lazy, they got stuck, they had a stomach ache, they got sick, right? Once I got invited to a wedding and I told them, I'm coming. All right? They called me a few times. I said, yeah, I'm coming. And then the day of the wedding that I was supposed to go, I got sick. I got a stomach bug. I was throwing up all night. I couldn't go to the wedding. So here's the guy saying, I'm coming. And maybe they were relying on him to come, and he couldn't come. That's the human condition. So he has to be someone who's always available. Because you cannot trust in somebody who sometimes forgets, sometimes neglects, sometimes can't make it. You can't trust this. Now, if you have these two, where there's a great compassion, and the abundance of care that he shows for his concerns, now you can have confidence in him without any questions. Meaning, these two conditions are very important. The guy has to be loving you, and that individual has to be able to help you in the sense that they're around. A third condition to be boteach in somebody or in some being is v'hashelishi sheyeh hazak. This being has to be powerful. If the guy is a weakling, I'm going to help you, but he can't move a box, he can't pick up something, he can't do anything, he doesn't have the ability to help you with what he's saying he's going to help, then how is he going to help? You have to be able to help. He has to be able to do it. He has to have the ability. If you need help with money and the poor guy's saying, I'm going to help you, he's not going to help. You have to have someone with unlimited resources in order to help you. He has to be so strong that he cannot be prevented from doing anything. And nothing will stop him from fulfilling the request of the person who trusts him. What's the point in trusting in someone if that person can't do it? Right? So the previous one was he might not be able to show up. He might be lazy. He might not make it, whatever. Now, the third condition, Lema'aseh, really is that he doesn't have the ability to do it. He doesn't have the ability to do it. He also can't be boteach in him. And this just reminded me when I was preparing. There was Lahavdil. This is now not a Jewish source that I'm about to bring down, but I think it's still an important source that one should know. There is a Dr. Jordan B. Peterson, I think his name is, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I listened to any of his stuff. But he once said that some people think they're very nice. You know, they try not to get into fights, and they're very, very kind and everything like that. And he was trying to say that that's not necessarily true. Because just because you're a weakling and you just decide to be nice because you don't want to get in fights with anybody, doesn't mean you're really a nice person. He wanted to say that you have to be strong and you have to be able to stand up and do these other things. And then if you're nice, that's called really being nice. Because you could technically be not nice. But you have to have that backbone in you. And how does it connect here? Is that in order to rely on someone, he has to have that ability to do it. You have to have the ability to do things, and this is a very important yesod. The other day, someone posted very nicely as well a shir from Rav Reisman, a clip actually, like 2 minutes, where he was saying that today, unfortunately, a lot of the young men are being handicapped. They're not giving the ability to go out and do things. Everything's being done for them. And that's problematic. And a very important part of the human condition is to be able to do things. But in our regard over here in the Halevavot is that you have to be able to do everything in order to be trusted and guaranteed in. And a person doesn't have that. If the person is weak, you cannot trust him. Even though it's clear to him that he's compassionate and he's thinking of him and he wants to help him, but it's not possible. Because in many cases, it's not possible for the person to do these things for him. When you have this love, and the person's always thinking of you and knowing never going to let you down, and the person has the strength to do it, then you have maybe, yet not so, because we still have another 4 conditions, but at least you have the foundation of how to trust this guy, because he has these qualities. So now we'll get into the 4th condition. The 4th condition, or the 4th quality that is needed in order to have trust in someone, that the guy that you're having trust in, he knows the ways of benefit for you. Okay? Meaning, sometimes you'll have a very well-intentioned individual, and he has the power, and he loves you, but he has no idea what's really good for you. So you're thinking he's going to help you out, but when he's trying to help you out, instead, he's making matters worse. Right? So you need to have somebody who's also all knowledgeable to know what is good for you. Right? If you're not feeling well, you don't want to go just onto any random Joe Schmo or go on WebMD and self-diagnose yourself. You want to be able to go to somebody who has years of training and has the knowledge set in order to help you out. Right? He has to be able to know what's good and not that it should be hidden from his eye, whether or not it's something that's apparent, right? Someone can come and say, I'm not feeling well, but he looks okay. But sometimes you have to do an x-ray, you have to do a CT scan, you have to look deep inside. You have to have a strong knowledge base, and you have to be able to delve deeply into the matter in order to know the truth of what is good for this individual. And in life, in this comparison to the doctors, there are many times that a doctor can make a mistake, because even though they're there to help and they want to help and they have the good intentions and they love you and they want to help you and they're not lazy and they're thinking of you, make you better, and they have the power, they have the resources to help you, but they may not have all the knowledge. Even though they have a good knowledge, they may not have all the knowledge. And he should know what is a benefit for that person. For if he doesn't know all this, the mind of the person who depends on him will not be at ease. I don't know if the guy can know what's good for me, and I'm trusting him to know what's good for me, then I have no trust in him. I can't trust him. He may not know what's good for me. But if he now has all these 4 qualities, Da'ato b'ta'alutav, including the knowledge of the needs. He really knows. He's all knowledgeable. He knows what's good for me. V'chalto b'hem, and he has the ability to carry them out. V'rov hashgachato alehem, and he has intense concern. He's never forgetting me. V'chemlato alav, his compassion is for me. Yichazak b'tchono bo mebeli safek. Then you can have trust in him without question. You have to have these four qualities in the individual in order to trust them. Okay. Says the Sefer Hovot Halevavot. There is now a fifth quality. What is the fifth condition in order to have trust in a being? It has to be exclusive control. What does this mean? Okay. Imagine a person goes to the doctor, and the doctor is all knowledgeable on this condition, and the doctor has all the resources in this condition, and the doctor gives him exactly what he needs, how he needs it, what to do. But at the same time, this individual, after leaving the doctor's office, goes now to a homeopath or to a faith healer or someone else with quirky methods of healing people. So what's going to happen? Whatever he was trying to do with that doctor is not going to work out because now he has someone else mixing in. So the Hamishi, he's the only one who takes care of this individual. From the beginning of the trusting person's existence, it has to be the doctor that was there from when the patient was born, and from when he started to form, and he started to become a child, and all these other things. He was there from the beginning. And he's the exclusive role of the trusted caregiver should cover the patient's growth from the very beginning. Of haruto, v'shushuto, v'ziknato, in his infancy, his childhood, his youth, his adulthood, his old age, to the end of his life. Hashem is the only one who can do this. The only one who's dealing with you on every stage. Because if you have one doctor says like this, one doctor says like that, one has this theory, one has that theory, one has like this, one has like that, it may not work out. It has to be exclusive control that he 100%, 1,000,000,000% knows exactly how it has to be. When this becomes clear to the trusting person, it's necessary, it follows that his mind will be completely calm. He will rely on him. Because up until now, he had so many benefits. And constant support. This will obligate him to increase his trust in him. And a person has to think, how did he become in existence? All of it is through the hashgacha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu had it happen exactly when the conception would be, the multiplication of the cells, making him into a little fetus, and every single piece from there.
Rabbi.
Yes.
Question. I hear you talking as a bitachon ba'adam. Now you're talking about bitachon b'kadosh baruch Hu. Before we were talking about emunah ve'bitachon. Now we're talking about bitachon לפתוח באדם. האם אפשר לפתוח או לא? אז למה החילוק הזה?
Okay, so very good. What we're trying to do right now, what the Hovot Halevavot is trying to do right now, is trying to show you need certain conditions have to be in a being, in a person, or in some entity in order to trust them. And without those conditions and qualities being there, you cannot have bitachon in them. So we keep trying to speak about a person to see if we can find a person who can fulfill all these 7 qualities that the Hovot Halevavot bring as conditions to be able to have bitachon in them. But it turns out that every time we're going through the quality and condition, we're seeing that it's not possible to be found in a person. And rather, it can only be found in HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So what about trust?
Yeah, trust as in
The
guarantee that
bitachon.
this. No, so bitachon is defined by the Hovot Halevavot in Perek Echad, in the first chapter, Perek Rishon. He defines, and I'll read you the lashon. Is as follows: Aval ha'ikar asher ba'avaro yeh bitachon mevoteach, ve'im yipaked lo yimatzah bitachon. What is it? Hu sheyeh libo batuach b'mi sheyiftach bo. It has to be that he has confidence in the one in whom he trusts. Meaning, if I have bitachon in someone, that individual needs to be able to do it completely. And the mahut of bitachon, he menuhat nefesh haboteach, is in order to keep that guy with menuhat hanefesh. If I have bitachon, that means I am calm, I'm relaxed, I'm tranquil, I have no problems. Because I have trust in the one who I trust, that he should be able to do it. So now we have to find what are the conditions that that individual can do it. Those 7 conditions is what we're going through right now. And we're trying to see if it could happen in a person. And we're coming to realize that no, it doesn't seem that it can happen to a person. It can only happen in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, so we're now up to the 6th condition, or the 6th quality of who we can have trust in. Vehashishit. The 6th condition, that all the affairs of the one who trusts are entirely in the hands of the one in whom she trusts. And no other person can harm him, nor help him, nor benefit him, no prevent harm from him coming except him. Meaning, someone who's entirely in control, who can prevent someone from hurting him. Because even though I love the guy and I say I'm going to help you and all this and all that, at the end of the day, someone else comes and does something, I necessarily can't stop it. I'm not in charge of everything and everyone. It has to be ke'eved ha'asur asher hu bevet habor b'reshut adonav, like a slave imprisoned in a pit. In the olden days, when people were taken captive, they were sometimes put in a pit in the ground. They couldn't escape. The master used to drop food into the pit. And the prisoner knew that nobody in the world could help him except for the owner of the pit. Only he could provide with food or withhold food. In some respects, we're in a similar situation. We're locked in. This world's like a pit. And nobody can approach us or harm us or anything except HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And when the trusting person is under the restriction, the one who he trusts in this way, there's more reason to put trust in him. If I'm saying that this individual can control everything, then there's reason to trust him, right? But in the regular person, it's very hard to say that this person can control everything. Maybe he can control a lot. Maybe he can influence a lot. But he definitely cannot control everything as a person. And the 7th condition.
1 minute, 1 minute.
Yes.
1 minute. It's the same thing. It's for a woman or just a man to a man. A bitachon, a trust, it's between man to a man or woman to a man.
It's the same idea. We're talking about complete trust right now. Complete bitachon. And it can be in any individual if they can meet these 7 qualities. Let's review the 6 qualities. And it doesn't make a difference if it's a man or a woman. If they can meet these 7 qualities, you can trust in them. They have to be ultimately kind. They have to be thinking about you all the time. They have to have the ability to do anything. They have to know everything. Everything is in their control. Everything is responsible with them. And now we're going to see the seventh condition. So obviously, if I'm understanding, perhaps the question was more like husband, wife to husband, in having trust in them. And I think that these qualities, to the best that we can emulate them and live by them, we would create more trust for our spouses. Meaning, if I'm ultimately kind, or I try to be as kind as I can, and I'm having her on my mind all the time, and whatever's in my ability to do, I do, right? And whatever knowledge I have, I use. I mean, I'm never going to have all the knowledge like Hashem has, but at least I'll be more relied on and bitachon as a spouse if I have some of these conditions or emulate somewhat similar to them. But the Hovot Levavot really is dealing with the ultimate reliable being in the universe. Who can I really, really rely on? And turns out there is no man or woman or anyone else or that one can rely on except HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'hashevi'it. And now the seventh condition. The seventh condition for complete trust is Shiyeh mishebatach alav v'tachlit hanedivut v'hachesed. The one that you trust in should be unlimited in generosity and kindness. Lemi shira'ui loy, or me she'en ra'ui loy. Whether you are deserving of it, or whether we are not deserving of it. Meaning, if it depends on how much this guy likes me, right? Maybe he likes me today, and maybe tomorrow he's not going to like me. So today he says he's going to help me. Tomorrow he's not going to like me. He's not going to help me. Shalom, right? So when it comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is so kind and so generous. He even helps us when we're not right to it. V'tiyeh nedivato matmedet v'hasdo nimshach. His generosity should be constant. His kindness should continue. Lo yikare v'lo yipasek. It should never be cut short or interrupted. Okay? Hashem continues to take care of every single individual. And not lechem lechol basar, as we said. And whether you're deserving of it or whether you're not deserving of it. And that is a requirement to trusting in that individual. So all these seven conditions is leading us to believe that humans, people, cannot be relied on. You cannot have real trust in people because ultimately it's not within their power to do everything they say they want to do. They don't have all the resources to do everything they would like to do. And sometimes they're lazy and sometimes they're unavailable. And as such, although they mean good and they really want to do good and they really care about you, but to have ultimate belief in them, we don't. Because as the Hovot Levavot is going to continue, this only meets, these conditions are only met by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let's read further in the Hovot Levavot. Omi shenikbetzu bo kol hamidot ha'ela, someone who possesses all these qualities, im kol ma shehiskiranu kodem lazeh, together with all the aspects we mentioned above, nishlemu tenae HaBitachon bo, has completed all the necessary conditions to have bitachon in him. Now, as we mentioned over and over again, only Hashem has all these qualities. The person who knows this of him is logically obliged to put his trust in him. If I know that this individual can meet these seven conditions, then I have to have trust in him. person should prove his trust and let his mind rely on him openly, secretly, bilibo, in his mind, uvavarav, with his limbs, uimaserelav, and he should be devoted to Hashem, and you'll submit to what he says. Veladun oto letov b'chol dinav umifa'alav. Yeah.
So everyone
wants to join. We have 2 people now. Anybody need a question?
Also, I'm in the thing now.
Yeah. Do you mind? That's in the middle of the share. You stop.
No, Chazru.
Okay. Go ahead. I appreciate you not disturbing. Okay, so says the Hovot Halevavot that if you find this individual has all these 7 qualities, then you're going to listen to them. You're going to want to do what they want. And everything that this individual does, you're going to realize that it's done favorably. Because if the individual is always thinking of you, and he loves you, and he's able to do everything, and he knows everything, and he's watching over you, and he can do it, and he's helping you, and he's going to do it no matter if you deserve it or not, then by default, this is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and anything that happens to you, it's for a reason. It's good. Sometimes a doctor gives you medicine that's hard to take. Sometimes something that's good for you looks bad at the first. We have seen that if a man has trust in Hashem, his first reward is that his life will be more tranquil. But even if certain things take place that are not undesirable to him, he knows that Hashem is on the job and fulfilling his kindness to him in various ways, even though they are not always understandable to him. So now, the Hovot Halevavot is going to continue by bringing pesukim, bringing verses that show this is only HaKadosh Baruch Hu who can fulfill all these 7 conditions. When we analyze these 7 conditions, we see they are not found at all in any created being. There can only be found in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We know it says, Al tiftechu b'nvi'im beven adam she'en lo teshuah. Do not rely on nobles, nor on a human being, for he holds no salvation. Ko amar Hashem, it says in Yirmiyah, Arur hagever asher yiftach ba'adam v'sam basar zera'o min Hashem yasur libo. And the opposite, it says, Baruch hagever asher yiftach ba'Hashem v'haya Hashem yiftacho. And it says the Hovot Halevavot, the first one, the condition of kindness, kemo shekatuv, shehu mirachem al biryotav. Hashem has pity on all his creations. Rachum v'hanud Hashem erech hapayim v'rav chesed. Plenty of kindness. Va'amar, and it says in Sefer Yonah, Va'ani lo achos al nivnei ha'ir ha'gedola asher yesh ba harbe mishtem esrei libo adam asher lo yada ben yimino l'smolo u'vehema rabba. You see, Hashem has kindness even to the city of Goyim of Nineveh. Noten lechem lechol basar. Hashem gives everybody. Hashem's kindness is beyond. There's the second condition was that Hashem is caring. He's always caring, doesn't get lazy. V'she'eno mit'alem. Where do we have this? Kemo shekatuv. It says in Pasuk in Tehillim, Hine lo yanum ve'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. He neither slumbers nor sleeps, the guardian of Israel. V'shehu chacham. So now I'm going to deal with the third and fourth condition. So the fourth condition, he was a chacham. He is wise. He knows exactly what to do all times. V'lo yenutzach, and nobody can overcome him. K'moshe katuv, Hashem chacham levav. Okay, Hashem chacham levav. He is wise of heart. V'amitz koach, and strong in power. Mi hiksha elav, who can suddenly oppose him? Vayishlam, and win. So Hashem is wise of heart and strong in power. Ba'amar, as it says in Divrei Yamim, L'cha Adonai Gedula, V'Hagevura, V'Hatiferet, V'Hanetzah, V'Ahol, Ki Chov Hashemayim V'Aretz, L'cha Adonai V'Lecha, V'Mitnaseh, L'chol Rosh. Hashem, yours is greatness, might, glory, victory, majesty, everything in the heaven and earth. Yours, Hashem, is the kingdom. Hashem has all the power. Uchtiv, Hashem Elokayich B'Kirbech, Gibor Yoshia Yasis Alayich B'Simcha, Yacharish V'Avato Yagil Alayich B'Dinah. Again, he is mighty to do help. Kadosh Baruch Hu has that power. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu has all that power. Hashem has exclusive control. V'shehu mityahed b'hanhagat ha'adam. He's alone conducting the affairs of man. Mitchilat inyano, v'atchalat gedulato, from the beginning of his existence and development. K'moshe katuv, as it's written, Halo hu avicha, kanecha, hu asecha, v'chonenecha. Hashem is your creator, your father. He made you, established you. He's doing all the parts. Va'amar, alecha nismachti mi bete. I relied on you from my mother's stomach. Mi ata gozi. From my mother's innards, you brought me forth. Hashem is with us from our very beginning. Va'amar, says Eov, halo ki halav taticheni. Have you not poured me out like milk? V'chagavina takfieni. We started out like a liquid drop, and little by little became solid being. Ushara inyan, and so on to the end of the next verse. You have to realize that Kadosh Baruch Hu has exclusive control over us. The sixth condition: V'shetolato v'hezeko einam b'reshut adam. His benefit and his harm are in no man's power. No one has power to help him or harm him. Ki'im beyad haboreh yit'aleh levado. He's in the hands of the Creator alone. Kimosh ne'emar mi ze amar. V'tihi Hashem lo tziva. Who decreed that anything came into being that Hashem didn't command? Mi pi elyon lo tetzeh otovat tov. Does not all the harm and benefit come from the mouth of the Most High? V'amar, as it says in Yeshaya, Yavesh Hatzer Navel Tzitz. Just as grass dries up and blossoms fade, so do the promises of people turn into nothing. Udvar Eloheinu Yakum Le'olam. But the word of Hashem will stand forever. Hashem has exclusive responsibility. Hashem is most powerful. Hashem can do everything. Va'amar Achen Hatzir Ha'am. In truth, the people are nothing but grass. Okay, the seventh condition, his generosity is all embracing, and his kindness is all encompassing. Kadosh Baruch Hu gives to everyone everything that they need, unconditional generosity and kindness. Says Rav Victor Miller that we have to understand that no matter how religious, how dati we are, in the end of the day, our minds are permeated by the wicked materialistic influence of the outside world. As a result, we tend to ignore the fact of Hashem's existence. And we have to study these words seriously and not say, I know about bitachon, I know. but rather let these words enter our hearts. We cannot think things are accident. We have to know HaKadosh Baruch Hu is all powerful and all in charge. As the Hovot Halevavot ends off the Perek Sheni. And this is the way he ends it off, and this would be how we end off as well for today. V'hasechel gozer, and our common sense dictates. V'hikavetz ela hashiva inyanim b'borei yit'alem mibilti hanivraim. That these 7 conditions that have been mentioned are found together only in Hashem and not in created things. No person, no being in the world has the 7 qualities as Hashem. Lachen heveti elu hapsukim min hakatuv lazikaron bilvad. Therefore, I quoted these verses just as a reminder. When this becomes clear to the person, his awareness of the truth of Hashem's kindness becomes reinforced. He then comes to trust in Hashem. And when he comes to trust in Hashem, he becomes devoted to Hashem. He leaves the management of his affairs to Hashem. And does not question Hashem. If something doesn't turn out the way he wants, he doesn't say, Hashem, you were sleeping. Hashem wasn't on the job, Hashem Shalom. Or Hashem had a grudge against me. No. The man knows that Hashem is kind. And whatever happens was for his benefit. And never resents what Hashem chose for him. Listen to what David HaMelech said in Tehillim. When I raise up a cup of salvation, I call out to Hashem. David declared that in victory, in happiness, he would raise a cup. But he also said in Tehillim, I find distress and sorrow. Shem Adonai Ekra, and I call out in the name of Hashem. So in all cases, I say, Hashem, we know that what you're doing is right for us. This is a very important yesod. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, everything he's doing, he loves us. He's so kind to us that everything he's doing is the best, no matter what it is that comes our way. Some quick examples. In the article he writes over here, first we'll bring the famous story with Reb Zusha, right? Reb Zusha was a very poor man, and someone once wanted to know, how can the Gemara say that there's a halacha that you have to praise Hashem for the bad just as for the good? So they said, go to Reb Zusha, he has so much bad things happen to him. They went to him, they asked him, he said, I don't know what you're talking about. I only had good in my life. How to view everything as good, right? So bad, sometimes we think is bad, but ultimately it's actually the best for the person. Second, we had the story with Rabbi Akiva, when he was traveling and no one let him in, he had to sleep in the field, and his rooster, his donkey, his lamp, they all got ruined, they're taken out. And in the end, he figured out that there was, if they would have seen it, these people, these soldiers or whoever it was, they would have came and captured Rabbi Akiva, and who knows what would happen to him. So the fact that it happened this way, he thought, my candle going out, my donkey getting killed, my rooster getting killed. Meanwhile, that's what saved his life. Accepting Hashem's judgment, even if he cannot fathom it, is the ultimate way of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The self-sacrifice itself is a cause for joy. One who loves Hashem with all his heart views affliction as opportunity to express his devotion to Hashem by accepting his decree with love. This is the highest form of serving him, and for a true servant of Hashem is a source of honest joy. So just quickly to review the 7 conditions and how they only apply to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Number 1, they have to be loving. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu can love like no one else can love. It has to be caring and thinking of you. Humans cannot always be thinking of you. They have to think of themselves. That's just the nature of being human. So only HaKadosh Baruch Hu can always be thinking of everyone. You have to have the power, the ability to do it. Man cannot always have the ability to do what he wants to do. Knowledge, to have all the knowledge, to know what's really good. Mankind can never have all the knowledge. Everything has to be through him. I can try helping the guy the best I could and do everything I can, but someone else will come and ruin it. Only Hashem has exclusive control, exclusive responsibility. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu can take care of an individual from when they were in their mother as an embryo all the way until 120, and every single part of their lives. That's only HaKadosh Baruch Hu can do. And only HaKadosh Baruch Hu can have unconditional generosity, unconditional kindness to the other individuals. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu can do that. It cannot happen by any other person. And so, as we mentioned, it is good for people to try to emulate HaKadosh Baruch Hu as much as possible and become someone that people can look up and rely on. But at the end of the day, you can't rely on people. It's just not a doable thing. The only thing we can rely on is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We should be zaycha to now and always have full bitachon. When we have bitachon, that means we have menuchat hanefesh, that Hashem is watching, taking care of, and doing everything the best for us. We're going to end here for today. Yashir koach. Yashir kochachem.
Kol tov.
Kol tov. Kol tov. Shavua tov.